Hi, and welcome back to this week's Parsha Shir on Sefer Netivot Shalom. This week, instead of doing a piece from Netivot Shalom on the Parsha, on Parshas B'Midbar, since our Shabbos this week leads right into the holiday of Shavuot, I thought we would do a small piece together from Netivot Shalom about the holiday of Shavuot. Netivot Shalom not only has a 5-volume set on the Parsha, but also a 2-volume set on the Moedim, the holidays, Pirkei Avos, Hashkafa, Musar, various other topics. So this piece comes from volume number 2 of Netivot Shalom, of this separate set, and it comes on about a piece from the holiday of Shavuot. Netivot Shalom says in Sefer Dvarim, Moshe Rabbeinu recounts the episode of Matan Torah. He describes the experience as Panim bePanim diber Hashem imachem bahar mitoch ha'esh, that God spoke to the Jewish people from the mountain, from amidst the fire, Panim bePanim, face to face, the most intimate kind of encounter that can exist between two parties. And Netivot Shalom says we have to understand what exactly does that mean. What kind of experience was it to be able to relate to God on a face-to-face level? And also, how exactly does that translate into a lesson for us today as we re-celebrate the holiday of Shavuot and re-experience that time of Matan Torah? He says, Yesh Lomar Ha'inyan could explain the whole idea of face-to-face encounter with God in the following way. Dihine hasishal kol habechina shezachu Yisrael b'mamar haniskav shel kabbalas Torah haya inyan panim bepanim diber Hashem imachem. The highest level of achievement that we reached at the foot of Har Sinai was this encounter of being face to face with God. Shehu bechinas yichud elyon, which is really the idea of being totally alone with the highest being, with God. Yichud means the intimate connection when two people are alone without anybody else present. So we had that form of yichud, that form of intimacy with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of being just alone and the two of us. That's what panim bepanim means. Panim bepanim bechinas nisuin, similar to the way we relate to face-to-face encounter of a married couple. Kedrashas Chazal, b'yom chasunaso, zo matan Torah. Chazal darshan the pasuk about Shlomo HaMelech on the day of his wedding. Day of his wedding translates into the day of Matan Torah. And the reason Chazal associated wedding day in general, the wedding day of Shlomo HaMelech, the inauguration of the Beis HaMikdash, with the day of Matan Torah, is because Matan Torah is in general described as a day of the chuppah, the day of the wedding between God and the Jewish people, and so it's fitting here to describe the level of relationship that was reached at Har Sinai as the type of level of relationship that would be reached by a married couple of panim bepanim, yichud elyon. Okay, continuing on over here. He says, Kedrashas Chazal, etc. Ulahasi bechina gavozo kadma kol achana harabasi shloshes yimei hagbala. In order to reach that high level, it didn't just come naturally, but it required a lot of preparation, especially the shloshes yimei hagbala, which preceded Matan Torah, v'haprishus minyane olam hazeh, separating ourselves from this worldly matters, v'hakolos v'brakim v'har bo'er v'esh, and all of the lead up, the preparation that inspired us emotionally, which was the lightning and the thunder and the loud voices and the shaking of the nation, the shaking of the mountain. Everything caused us to prepare for this grand moment of finally being able to encounter Hashem in such an intimate way. He says here, very importantly, V'chol zeh shayach b'chol dor b'chol shana. The type of feeling that was reached at Har Sinai, the type of intimacy that was reached with God at Har Sinai, a face-to-face encounter, is possible not just in that initial moment of Matan Torah on Shavuos, it's possible every single year. Ela she'az hayah kol b'bchinas itaruta de le'ela. The only difference is that in that initial moment of Matan Torah, the whole thing happened because of the arousal from on top, meaning God initiated the process of this face-to-face encounter. Ubechol dor v'shana tzarich lazeh isarusa delatata. But every other year, when we re-encounter the moment of Har Sinai, in order to achieve that level of panim bepanim, of intimate encounter, the initiation has to come from us. V'chol echad masig es kabbalas Torah hashayach lo lefi erko v'hachanaso. And within that world of human initiation, each person can reach higher and higher on the ladder of that intimate relationship and encounter with God, according to their own means, according to their own efforts, according to their own preparation. כמו קדושת כל החגים שהם בבחינת מקדש ישראל והזמנים. דהיינו שקדושת הזמנים הוא לפי הקדושה שיהודי מקדש ומכין עצמו לקבל פני החג. It's true by every holiday, truthfully, to some degree, which is evident in the bracha that we say on the Amidah for every Yontiv, Mekadesh Yisrael v'Hazmanim. God sanctifies the Jewish people, who themselves sanctify the holidays. We give the holidays their sanctity. We imbue these days with Kedusha according to our own means. The more effort we put into it, the higher level of Kedusha we reach on those holidays. That's true every Yontiv, but it's especially true on Shavuot, where implanted within the Shavuot was the ability to get back to that panim bepanim encounter, that face-to-face encounter. However, Hashem set it up that while the first time it happened through his initiation, every subsequent time would happen through ours. The elder first Slonim Rebbe gave a mashal, gave an analogy, a parable to try to understand this idea that through our human effort and encounter, we could come back to that moment. He says, a mashal la'av halokeach es beno maleo lepiskas hahar. He says it's similar to a parent that takes their child to the top of the mountain. Sheyire misham maros marhivos. They hope that as they take their child to the top of this mountain, they'll see incredible vistas, incredible scenes, incredible views of nature. But after that moment, they take them down the mountain and they say to them, if in the future you want to see those scenes again, if you want to see those vistas again, you have to climb the mountain again, and you have to do it alone. One step after the other. Take your time, take your effort. One step after the next, you will climb the mountain next to reach those scenes again. So too with our encounter with God, with our experience of spirituality and Torah, and intimacy with the divine. At the beginning, Hashem shows us the way. Hashem gives us, as a gift, that feeling of his alos, of elevation, of reaching him, of closeness, of panim bepanim encounter. Just like the parent takes their child for the first time, they schlep them up, they carry them, they push them, whatever they do to take them to the top of the mountain, to see the scene, to get that initial exposure to the beauty of the vistas. So too HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us as a gift. He takes us along for the ride at Matan Torah, the ability to see panim bepanim, what an encounter with God would be like. Bechinas ein chozek kechasidus betchila, v'achar kach lokchem mimenu et zeh, v'tzarich lamol harbe ad shemargish mashu. But after that initial moment, just like the parent takes the child down the mountain and takes that encounter away from them, so too after the initial moment of our Sinai, God takes us down from that spiritual high, from that face-to-face encounter, and instills in us the principle that we have to work hard to reach it again. Because we had a glimpse of it, because we know it, because we felt it in our collective memory and history, it's easier to get back to. We know what we're striving for. We know what the goal is. Not only that, we know what it feels like in the inside of our soul to be there at that moment of great encounter. So it's easier for us to reach it again because God did it for us first. God allowed us to have it first. But we still have to work to be able to get there. So too with Matan Torah, there was a great revelation in that moment. And then every year, people have to reach that moment again. Now Netivot Shalom addresses a secondary question. How is it possible for any human being, so steeped in this worldly matters, to ever reach so high, even if they tried, even if they put in the effort, even if they climbed the mountain, tzad achar tzad, step after step, how do you ever reach a level that's so close to the divine, so close to pure spirituality? So he says, Hashem gave us a special way to reach that high level. He says the way to reach that, brings beautiful Mamrei Chazal to be able to prove it, is by allowing yourself to give yourself over completely to the Torah and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the same as in relationships. He brings beautiful analogies from marriage, Gemara and Kiddushin, commentary of the Ran and Nidarim, other beautiful ideas here. He says in a marriage, one person could bring much more than the next. But the moment that the second person who comes into the marriage with nothing gives themselves over to their spouse, give themselves over to the relationship, and vice versa, then no matter who's bringing what, no matter what level each one is on, they become one unit, one whole, one indivisible whole that is completely there for each other. That idea of giving yourself over to the institution of marriage or to your spouse is what creates this cohesion and takes perhaps a disparate level between two people and causes them to be so intimately connected despite this disparity. So too with us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Matan Torah. If we give ourselves up completely to the relationship, to the institution, to the idea of Kabbalah Torah, to the ideas of the Torah, to the idea of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and our relationship with Him, then despite the disparity, we become locked in as one, panim bepanim, face to face. Ze itzumo shel hachag hakadosh hazeh. That's the power of this holy and awesome holiday, which we are very fastly approaching. Hisbatlos gemura laHashem lotoraso bebchinas nisuin. Total giving over of oneself, total nullification of self to the larger idea, to the larger institution, to the larger relationship that we call Am Yisrael and Hashem, that we call Panim Bepanim, that we call the Torah. Ad shemasig bechina zo shel panim bepanim, until the point where you reach such closeness that you feel as if you're literally face to face with God. The takeaway of this beautiful Netivot Shalom is that as we approach this holiday of Shavuot, and there's so much to celebrate, we celebrate thousands upon thousands, millions of ideas that were given to us in the Torah. We celebrate each one of those. We celebrate the Aseret HaDibros, we celebrate the moment, we celebrate the history, we celebrate the values of the Torah, we celebrate the mitzvahs of the Torah. But above all of that, we celebrate the moment of closeness in our relationship with God face to face. We celebrate our ability to reach back through great effort to that moment and achieve it again. And we recognize and reinforce within ourselves that the way to get there, the way to level the playing field, if you can even say that, between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is by giving ourselves over to this institution. What that means is a difficult question. Doing that is a difficult endeavor, but it's one that we need to work on, that we need to focus on. Being able to say, I put myself second for the other, meaning in this case for Hashem. I put myself second towards the institution, meaning in this case our acceptance of the Torah and our relationship with God. When you start to do that, when you have the ability to at different moments and times put yourself second and put the other first, put the relationship first, then you will achieve that level of hispatlos. You will achieve that level of giving yourself over to the other. Never totally eliminate yourself, but being able to put yourself within the context of the relationship in a way that brings you closer and closer. It's true on a human level, it's true on a godly level. Hopefully we should be successful in this endeavor, achieve great closeness with God, and great success in our avodas Hashem. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.